My name is Sam and welcome to my channel, My Thoughts on Anime. Like the name says, this is my little corner on the internet where I will put my thoughts on anime or manga so they're immortalized forever. If I end up attracting an audience in the process, then all the better, but my intention is to just keep a record of what I thought about a series I read or watched, so I don't forget. This video is serving as more or less a reference, and probably a channel trailer, of my tastes on favorite anime, manga, and waifus. As of this recording, I've been watching anime for about 9.5 months. I started at the beginning of the year, and thanks to certain world circumstances, I've had plenty of time on my hands to watch as much as possible. From classics and big names to lesser known series, and definitely some series I wish I could forget. I'll give you my top 5 in order from 5 to 1, being the greatest of all time, while throwing in some honorable mentions that couldn't quite make the list, but I at least wanted to just say the titles to get it out there. The honorable mentions are in no particular order, as I might be more into 1 or 2 that are currently airing rather than others. Basically, just after number 5, I couldn't decide on an order. So let's start with the anime, because that will give a good indication of where we are going in the manga and waifu sections. Coming at number 5 is the criminally underrated show, Plastic Memories. I won't get into why I love it because the show really shines in the last 5 or so episodes, and I don't want to spoil, so I'll probably just make a video on it later. But the way it built its world and did not have some giant conflict and just focused on the emotions and the characters made for an ending that made me cry like a baby. But it was a good ending. Number 4 is going to be Konosuba. I'm not going to talk about this one too much because I'm sure we all know why it's a good show, being the parody that it is. But I just want to mention that back when I first started watching anime, I went on a bit of an isekai binge. I watched Konosuba in the middle of this phase, and the way it parodied the genre was a really refreshing take. But like I said, I'm trying to go into specifics. Coming in at number 3 is the Monogatari series. It's hard to put my finger on why I love the series so much. Everything from Niso Isin's fantastic writing to what Studio Shaft did to animate it. While I love the series as a whole, if I had to pick, which I don't like doing, it's gotta be Bake, Owari second season, and Zoku Owari. But every single one is fantastic in their own way, like the different art style in the Kizu Monogatari movies, to, yes, the toothbrush scene. Coming in at number 2, the face of the Please Give Us a Season 2 movement, No Game, No Life. Everything about this anime is what I love anime for. For starters, the art style is fantastic. Even after watching tons of other anime, it's hard to find an art style that looks this colorful. But I love the rest of it too. The mind-blowing games they play, the comedy, voice acting, and most of the fan service. There are a couple scenes that leave a little bit to be desired though. Finally, my favorite number 1 anime of all time, and in fact the first ever anime I watched, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah, you heard that right. The first anime I ever watched was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It drew me in from part 1 and not only kept my attention, but made me constantly want more. I originally watched it to understand the memes, but the more I watched it, the more I came to love it. My favorite animated is part 3, but my favorite JoJo is part 2 Joseph, and my favorite JoJo is part 4's Okiyasu. So, I'm all over the place. Some honorable mentions of favorite animes include Initial D, Recreators, Fire Force, Certain Scientific Railgun, and Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica. Now for the manga. Starting with number 5, funny enough, is Quintessential Quintuplets. My favorite, and honestly in my opinion, the best traditional harem story slice of life. I have some choice thoughts on the ending, but I'll make another video about it and not go into details for the sake of spoilers. All of the girls are extremely well written, and unlike most shows, I see myself claiming all our best girls. Number 4 is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6, Stone Ocean. Many people speed read it just to get to Steel Ball Run, and I don't think people recognize it like they should properly. Part 6 is really strong with a great main JoJo and even crazier stand fights, and the ending serves as an important, but I think needed, setup for the next era of JoJo's. Number 3 is actually a light novel, but it's basically the same shit with more words and less pictures. Oh, I'm keeping it on this list, and it's the only light novel I've read so far, and there's a good chance you've guessed it's the No Game No Life light novels. I was scared that reading the light novels I would lose the magic of the anime and not actually be able to keep up with what's going on, but that's totally not the case. I enjoyed reading them, and like I said, it's not hard to keep up with what Sora and Shiro are up to as much as the writer wants you to. And when the writer does want you to understand what's going on, he gets Sora and Shiro and probably all of the other characters to explain what's happening to Steph. My top 2 are honestly a toss-up, and it's super close, but since I have to pick, number 2's gotta go to JoJo Part 7, Steel Ball Run. I said Part 3 was my favorite animated, that's because Part 7 is my favorite of all time. I loved all of the characters, the crazy story it becomes, and the whole concept of spin I think is badass. Gyro is my favorite absolute Jobro of all time. I said Okuyasu was, but Okuyasu was animated. All time, it's Gyro. At this time of the recording, Golden Wind has been animated and no official announcement on Stone Ocean. And while I'm excited for the Stone Ocean anime, I am a tiny bit more excited for the Steel Ball Run adaptation in like 15 years once David Production gets around to it. Finally, taking the number 1 spot is Komi Can't Communicate. Part of the reason is because on some level, I completely understand what Komi goes through. And seeing Tando help her make friends gives me a smile every chapter I read. I constantly look forward to the new chapters. I have all of the current English volumes right now. It is truly, like, I think one of the best, if not the best, slice of life. Some honorable mentions include the Darling in the Franxx manga, Demon Slayer, Pseudo Harem, Spy X Family, and the Tuaru spin-offs like Accelerator, Astro Buddy, and Railgun. Finally, the part I'm sure you've all been waiting for. Sam, who are your top 5 waifus? Well, starting at number 5, we have Miku Nakano from Quintessential. I'm a huge sucker for yanderes and kuderes, and Miku is all that plus more thanks to the excellent character development and writing. I stated before that all the Nakano girls are waifu tier, and while they are, Miku stands out to me the most. So much so that she makes this list. Coming in at number 4 is Aqua. Yes, Aqua is the best girl of Konosuba, in my opinion, for a couple of reasons, but the biggest is that I would love the chance to party with her. I don't care if she doesn't have some godly powers but she knows how to party and can revive you when you drink yourself to death. The perfect party companion. Coming in at number 3, we have Best Crab, Senjo Gahara. The way Monogatari characters are written, it's hard to not love all of them. But Senjo Gahara, I like her because of how straightforward she is, especially with Araragi. She is so much fun to watch every second she's on screen. Not that the other characters are no fun, mind you. And her chemistry with the other characters, and especially Araragi, makes her top tier. Coming in at number 2 is the speechless goddess and my spirit animal in anime girls, Komi-san. As I said before, I understand exactly what Komi-san goes through sometimes, and I myself can be pretty shy and antisocial, and I understand how hard it can make life. She's just super wholesome and a fun character. Finally, number 1 waifu is 02. Yeah, you're probably thinking, man, that's such a basic waifu, and you're absolutely right. Darling in the Franxx was one of the first anime I watched, and before the story went downhill, I loved every part of her character and design. Her attitude of not giving a fuck about anyone or anything except Hiro I thought was funny and an interesting character. Some honorable mentions of best girls in some of their shows include Jabril, Misako Mikoto, and Yudachi from Contact Collection. So yeah, now you know a bit about my tastes. Also, I guess here are my top 5 anime openings of all time, but I'm kind of running out of time, so I'm going to just put them on screen. I may or may not need to update this in a year or whenever, but for now that's it. Thanks for watching.